As the real-time system is accessed by your users with different roles and responsibilities, you want to control some users from accessing some modules or allowing to create transactions but not allowed to modify or delete the transactions. Real-time system allows you as a supervisor to manage the user's accesses and rights. In this video, you will learn how to set the user's rights. At Utility, click User Group Control. There are already a few preset user groups in the system. We shall start off with your role as a supervisor to manage the rights and accesses of your users. Supervisor has got the highest rights in the system, as shown by the group level at 99. We shall explain how to manage the level control in the next video. Highlight on the supervisor and click Access Control. Notice that all the functions and modules are being ticked, and you have got full rights and accesses to all the modules. This is especially so that the utility be accessed only by you as a supervisor and no other user groups can come in to access the utility module here. As an illustration, we shall take a look at the administration access control. In the earlier video, you had learned how to create your user. At user control here, we had created a user called Catherine Cole, whom we have put her under as an admin user. So we are going to set Catherine Cole as to what she's able to access and what she's able to function. For example, to create a document or to make changes to the document or to print out a document or to delete a document. Coming back to the user group control, highlight on the administration user group and click access control. At the header here, it is showing you that you are in the admin user groups control to manage the rights and accesses. You can see that some of the modules are not accessible to the admin users. And as mentioned before, the utility will be barred off from the admin user. We shall now learn how to manage the accesses and rights of the admin user group. The preset admin user group in the system is assumed that the admin users are not allowed to access the account setup. That is why from this point here onwards until this point, the account setup is not accessible to the user. And also the stock setup is not accessible to the user. At the accounts level, the user is allowed to access the sales journal, purchase journal, and receipt and payment and so on and so forth. And bank reconciliation is not her responsibility, so this is not ticked. And stock transfer, stock transaction, all these are not accessible. But she's responsible to do quotation and she needs to have access to the quotation module, and she need to add and she need to make changes or allowed to make changes. These are the assumptions made in the standard admin user as preset in the system. However, if you find that some of the roles can be expanded or some of the roles can be limited, you can remove the tick. For example, if she's not allowed to go into the customer DO, remove the tick. And if she's allowed to, or she's not allowed to edit a quotation, you can remove the tick. Or at the stock setup, You allow her to manage the stock master file, to create a new stock, or to make changes to the new stock. So you are expanding her role to include more responsibility of doing the stock master, to maintain the stock master, and you are limiting the roles in the quotation here of not allowing her to edit the quotation and not allowing her to go into the customer delivery order. At the payment here, you can also limit her role to print the reports by removing this tick under this U-port column. U-port refers to the report, user report. U-view refers to the user viewing of the transaction. U-delete refers to the user delete function, and U-edit refers to the user edit function and user add function. You can also make a global tick to remove the function of printing the report if you find that she is not going to print any reports from the system but just to do the entry. First, remove one of the tick and go to the top here and double click. Double click again to remove all, and double click again to tick all. Similarly for here, you can choose to do a tick to select a horizontal overall global tick or to untick. We shall now log out of the system and log in as Catherine Cole to see the effect of these changes. After the changes is being done, click Save. Click OK. And we shall log out of the system now. And your user Catherine Cole will log into the system as an admin user. As mentioned, she's not allowed to come into the account setup module like classification, chart of accounts, and financial period, etc. Similarly, at utility, she's not allowed to come into the user group to modify her own rights. So the whole of utility sub-module is not accessible to her. Coming back to the sales entry, where she's allowed to do a quotation, as she click the quotation module, she's allowed to click Add and issue a fresh quotation to a customer. She's allowed to save the quotation and print a quotation out. And if she needs to do a changes to the quotation, she will not be able to edit her quotation, but she can print her quotation. At delivery order, as per the setting, she's not allowed to access the delivery order module. At the stock setup, stock master, she can add new stocks and she can edit and make changes to the information here. Log out again and you log in again as a supervisor. Return back to the user group control and continue to manage the rest of the user groups. For example, purchaser. Do all the necessary changes and save. Or the store, or the salesperson, or the sales manager. Once you set all the user rights, go back to the user control and create a dummy user and change the rights accordingly. Log in with this test user and test out the settings that you have preset for them to make sure that they are correct. You can also create new user group accounts by clicking the add button. For example, I want to create a accounts receivables user group. For level control, we will explain in more details in the next training video. Meanwhile, put it as 50 first and click save. Click OK. Exit. Highlight on the user group accounts receivable and click on the access control. It is all blank and you may start to tick the item that is available to this user group. For example, accounts receivable will need to in charge order, receipt, and do bank record, for example, and any other functions. Once complete, click save. Click OK. You may now then go to assign the user groups to the relevant users, or you may create a new user that may just join your company recently and assign the person with the accounts receivable user groups and click save. If you have new staff comes in to join your company as an admin, create the user and assign the person as an admin. This new person will share the rights and accesses of the admin as set up just now. You have successfully learned how to set up the user groups to control the accesses and rights of each individual users.